Yes.
Welcome, the orange welcome screen.
Yes.
Okay, great. All right.
For
Well,
me,
good
it's
morning,
sign in, sign
everybody.
up for free.
What's that?
Mine says Ring Central Meeting.
Yes. Where
Okay.
do you see that at? You're in the right place. This is
So
Zoom.
do I have to touch join a meeting?
Can you still see everyone, or do you see my
Nope, I
presentation?
can't.
Do you see the orange slide that says welcome?
Nope. It just says join a meeting, sign in. It's taking.
Okay, I would go back to how we did a few moments ago, Miss Denise, at the bottom of your screen where all those Ring Central tabs are, and hover over us and click on it again to bring us back. And let me know when you get there.
It's going back to It said open, run as an administrator. I need to touch open.
You'll find it, Miss Denise. It'll be at the bottom of your screen, just like last time. Just hover over the Ring Central tab. And then when you see our call pop up with the orange slide and our faces, do a left click on there. Okay, well, we'll have probably a few other classmates join us here shortly. So thank you all for being patient this morning. We got onto our Zoom call. This is technically week 3 of being together, but this is week 2 of our online portion of the class. And this week we're going to continue exploring different functions of Zoom, and we're going to talk today also about beginning to use Google and answering any questions that we may have on the internet. But first, I just want to ask, what went well with your Zoom practice from the last time we met? If you had any time to practice and play around with your laptop this past week, do you have any questions or comments about using Zoom?
Yes, I have a question. I wanted to know, like if I'm trying to connect to my doctor.
Yes.
How would I get them on Zoom?
That's a great question, Ms. Joyce. So as we build upon our Zoom skills here in this class together, we are learning those basic skills that we need to do video and audio with friends and family, but also our doctors, because that's a very up and coming thing that people are doing nowadays, and then especially with the pandemic. So doctors each sometimes will have their own platforms that might not be called Zoom. It depends on who your doctor is. They might have a different website, but the way that it looks should be the exact same or very similar to a Zoom call. So you will have those skills that you need in order to go into an online doctor's visit. And I'm glad that you said that, because actually the class that we will be offering once this class ends, you all can sign up for it if you would like. We're going to be teaching how to do those online doctor's visits.
Okay. Okay.
Miss Denise, could you find us all right? You still trying to get back?
Welcome. What went well with Zoom?
Great. Okay. Any other questions about your Zoom practice this week? And if you can't think of them right now, that's okay. Just ask. Please feel free to stop me as we move along. Tell me if I'm going too fast or too slow. So we want to make sure if you wish to speak, remember that you might be muted. So we all want to hear you, but I think most of you, we can hear you right now. So last week we did talk about our 3 different gifts. We have gifts of the head, hands, and heart. That was in your weekly activities packet, the very first one. And this is just an exercise to get to know everyone a little bit better and kind of bond over the things that we have in common, and might have differences, different experiences. Yeah. So let's go ahead and you can just share one of them. You don't have to share all of them. Who would like to go first? And I'll give a refresher. Gifts of the head is something that you have a lot of knowledge about, that you would enjoy talking to with somebody else. Gifts of the hands is something that you can physically do for somebody or that you enjoy doing. Any type of skills you may have, like baking or painting, those would be my gifts of the hands. And then gifts of the heart, that's something that deeply resonates with you in your heart. Something like loving your family, your friends, and your community.
Well, I'll start.
Okay.
My gift of the heart is working with the seniors at my church.
Okay, great.
It's something I did even at the previous church before I moved here.
Yeah.
We're in the same room and I'm getting a lot of feedback.
Yeah,
But I was saying,
that
I enjoy working with the seniors. I'm sorry.
oh, that's okay. Thank you. I think that'll work better to get rid of that that feedback. Thank you. So you work with the seniors at your church, you said?
Yes.
Okay, great. That's a good one.
Even at the, go ahead.
I'm sure we
Holly.
can relate to that one as well. That's a good gifts of the heart.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing.
I have the gifts with the hands.
Uh-huh.
I make the candy dishes
Oh.
and give to the seniors, like when they're in the hospital or
Mhm.
recovering, and make fruit baskets and give. And I just enjoy doing that for the seniors.
Mhm.
Anybody that's been in the hospital and coming home, I always try to give them a candy dish.
Yeah. Oh, that's so nice. I'm sure they really appreciate that.
Right, right.
How about you, Carolyn?
Oh gosh. Well, I'm not very good with the hands. With
Oh.
the hand, I'm learning about golf. Is something that my husband introduced me to, so I'm pretty consistent with that. But I guess my gift of the heart is my most strongest asset, in that I offer care to my mother,
Mhm.
sisters. I cared for my mother for 2 years before she passed last year. And it just taught me a lot about life, the aging process, and how it's so important to take care of ourselves, while we still have our health and strength. Even just the slightest, just trying to move to keep your body active is so important. So
Yes.
my gift of the heart is just caring for my family, for others. And I'm also part of the senior nutrition program, where I get to go and participate with other seniors and take part in the exercises and walking and arts and crafts.
Great. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good program. I'm sure you can offer some insight and knowledge as we go along here to that nutrition program. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Miss Denise, what about you?
What about me? Well, I call my seniors at church,
Mm-hmm.
and I send cards when I can, and when we have a meeting, I'm on a conference call, so I'm always doing something from the heart
Yeah,
to help people out.
I can see that very easily, Miss Denise. You have a big love for community.
Yes, And I tell you, back during the summer, I had the opportunity to help people to get free lunches. So I called about 60 people because Mecklenburg County was giving free lunches to seniors
Uh-huh.
who needed food. And so I was able to help at least about 45 of them
Wow, that's amazing.
through the health department.
Very nice.
Mhm.
Thank you for sharing. Mr. Jimmy, what about you? Would you like to share one? I don't think we can hear you, Mr. Jimmy. It looks like you aren't muted. I just couldn't hear anything coming out. Could anyone else hear him?
No.
No, okay.
Oh,
All right, test it out again. Let's see if we can hear. Just say hello or something so we can test it.
Hello?
Okay, I can hear that.
You can hear now?
Yes, okay, perfect. We got it.
Okay.
Okay. VFW,
Oh,
we have a home for children in Eden Rapids, Michigan,
uh-huh.
that we support all the time.
Oh,
And we donate money to the community sometimes. The guys, you see some men and women at Walmart,
mm-hmm.
at Google and McDougal with the red flowers.
Yes.
That money goes to that home in Eden Rapids, Michigan.
Wow.
And that's enough for the heart.
Okay, that's amazing. That's very important. I think too often veterans are forgotten. So that's amazing that you're a part of that and that community building. Thank you for sharing that, Mr. Jimmy. All right, I think that was everybody. So thank you all for sharing, because this helps us to get to know each other a little bit better, but it's also important as we are moving along in this class together, because we can leverage those gifts in different areas of knowledge that we have, especially when we're learning something very new online. And I know you all have so many things to offer and bring to this class, so I'm excited to learn from you as well. Okay, so we're going to go on to the next slide here. It says week 2. Like I said, we are going to start learning how to find health websites and resources. This week, we're going to learn how to use Google and searching online while on a Zoom call. This is a preference, but I'll talk about how you can multitask and be on Zoom and go on Google. But ultimately, this is going to be something that you can practice during your own time this week when we meet together again next time. Okay, so to find information, when we want to Google something, we are going to go to Google Chrome the same way that we access our class this morning. It'll bring you to that DuckDuckGo page. That is like the hub, the center of information of going online. So you'll always use this red, green, yellow circle that says Google Chrome at the top left of your computer. And once you open that up, you'll have that page, like I said, that says DuckDuckGo or Google. It's the same type of browser. And this is where we go to our class. But you'll see above that, there is this bar, and that is called the address bar. This is where we can type in a question or somewhere that we want to go on the internet or something that we want to learn more about. And I'll show you a better example of this in the next few slides on how to do that. Okay, so like I said, you can multitask while on Zoom. Right now, because I am sharing my screen with you all, it's probably taking up your entire screen, so you can't see anything else. But once I'm done sharing my screen in a little bit, you'll be able to see at the top right corner, you'll have these options. The red X means you close out the tab and that it's gone. This one means that it will make it smaller so that you can see one tab and another tab at the same time. And then this little one is called the minimize. It'll just bring it down to the bottom of your screen that you can pull up and see again later. So these are just different viewing options for the tabs that you might have open. So if you were to do multiple windows, then this example is kind of in your computer basics packet as well, with the directional arrows and resizing tabs. But you can do this by just clicking and holding down on a window you have open around near the top. And if you drag it, you'll see it moves across your screen. So you can kind of adjust it to see two things if that works for you.
I'm taking the class. I just can't get my volume up. I don't know where my volume is.
So this is an example of what it looks like when we are going on to Google Chrome. Let's say we want to choose a certain health topic or question that we want to learn more about. When we go to our Google Chrome and that DuckDuckGo page, I showed you a slide ago, the address bar at the top, or you can type it in the middle of your screen right here. It's just a white bar that will be blank and it'll say search here. This is where we can type in keywords to get the kind of results that we would like. So sometimes we'll see Google, it likes to give us suggestions. So in this example here, you'll see someone typed in how to eat healthy, and then all of these suggestions below Google will pull up. So you can always kind of go off of those if that takes you in a different direction. Any questions so far? All right. I see Miss Larnetta is on the call. We'll see her in just a moment. Okay, so after we type in, you'll see up here, that was that search bar, the address bar for Google. It says how to eat healthy. Once we type in the words that we want to generate a response, we will click enter on our keyboard and it will bring up the search for us. So what you see right now is an example of a Google search results page. It's going to bring up a bunch of possible resources that we can go through. And typically when we do this, if we're looking at all of these.
Going crazy.
What's that, Jimmy?
The mouse on my machine is going crazy all over by itself.
Oh, what do you mean by going crazy? What's it doing?
It was going all over the screen, but it has stopped now.
Oh, was it my mouse maybe?
Look at it.
Hi, Miss Larnetta.
Hi.
How are you?
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Everything's good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, so thank you. Just stop me if you have a question or if something comes up. That's totally fine. Okay, so you might see my little black arrow on my screen moving around. This is just to show you what I'm talking about right here. So you'll see all of these different words in blue. These are the titles of different websites. That means if we click on those in blue, those words, that will take us to that possible resource. Okay, so like I said, there will be lots of search results that come up when we're typing in questions or keywords into Google, but there's so many websites and resources out there, it's hard to know which ones are trustworthy and secure. You know, we want to make sure that what we're reading is real and not something that's fake or written by some random person. We want to be reading things that are by doctors and researchers and credible authors. So we're going to teach you some tips on how to spot those. Okay, so to do this, this is an example here that I have pulled up. We are going to look at which of these seems
Okay.
trustworthy. Did someone have a question? Okay, I see Miss Catherine got on. Hi, Catherine. She'll join us in a second. Okay, so you should see on your screen, it says which is more trustworthy, example 1 or example 2. So just study these for a moment. We're going to talk about this in a smaller group. We're going to explore a new Zoom function by doing that. Obviously, these are two different topics. One on the left is talking about what's the best way to take your temperature, and the one on the right says how to diet. So those are two different topics, but these are just two different examples. The one on the left is an article, and the one on the right is a Google search results page. But just kind of look around and see if you get any idea of what it means, which one would be more trustworthy. So I'll give you a second to look around at that. Okay, does anyone have any questions about that yet? We're about to talk in smaller groups about this. Okay, so to do that, this the next thing we're going to do is called a breakout room. Now, this is a really cool function that Zoom has that allows us to go into like a separate breakout room from our big class. Kind of the same thing if we were in person at the Y and you were sitting next to someone at a table and you had that side conversation with them. So this is what we're going to do now and come back to the class. But it's nothing that you have to do. It will tell you to join. You'll see this box pop up on your screen in a moment when I say go. And all you have to do is click that blue join breakout room. And then after about a minute, it will bring everybody back. So you just have to watch on your screen and it'll tell you what to do. Are there any questions about that? Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing the presentation so that I can put us into these breakout rooms and discuss which of those is more trustworthy. All right, give me 1 second. Okay, and you should see that box pop up on your screen and click the blue button that says join.
My internet is unstable.
Hey, Jasmine.
Did you mean
Yeah, I
invite me
did.
to a breakout room?
Yeah, because Miss Lornette is by herself. I could pop her in with somebody else though. Let me just do that. Put her too. Okay. All right. Yeah, I see.
Yes, I got a call from Miss Nimmons and from Miss Burrows.
Okay.
That both of them couldn't get connected, and I'm like, because they were able to get on last week. Well, we had to help them, but it doesn't sound like they're practice. So they try to practice in between, and then if an issue comes up with like getting connected or anything like that, they're just stopping. They're not calling and reaching out for help. Yeah. They're just giving up.
Okay, I agree. I was talking to Miss Joyce earlier. I think there are select ones in each classes that have been practicing, but it's still going to take more time. But because I do realize some of them might not touch it until we have class.
Even though we're telling them to.
Yeah. So I'll say at the end of class today, you know, like please log on like 9:30 or like a little bit earlier if you need help, and please call us so that when 10 o'clock comes around, you know, we're not doing it on the back end.
And just another reminder that they need to practice during the week. And if they come up with issues during the week, they can call us and reach out to us. We're available. Cause oh, here comes Miss.
All right. All right, I'm going to close the rest of the rooms and everyone will join us back in a minute.
You're back.
She's
Miss Joyce.
We discussed it.
And so you're like, okay, I'm finished.
Hi.
Yes.
Everyone's coming back on here. Great.
She was trying, oh, she back.
I didn't realize you were coming back.
Everyone's back.
Is that everybody?
We're waiting for Jimmy and Ophelia.
Okay.
There we go. All right.
I got back.
You're back. We're waiting on Miss Ophelia. She should be here in just a second. There we go. Okay, so that was, I want to hear about your experience, what your thoughts were on that. That's kind of like a weird, like, time travel transportation, isn't it?
It was. Because at first we were just looking at one another. What we gonna do?
Right. So yeah, so some of you probably discussed which example was more trustworthy, but that was also just a practice too to get into the breakout room, because like I said, that's a really cool function that Zoom has. And we'll do this in the weeks to come so that we can have those group discussions and then come back all together to talk about it. But it is kind of like a leap of faith. But I told you it's relatively easy, and the computer brings you back to the main room, so you don't have to worry about not being connected to our bigger class. So did anyone get to talk about which example they thought was more trustworthy? And I'll bring that back up so that we can see it.
Yes, we talked about it.
Okay.
The thermometer, because the other one had too many questions.
Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What else did you notice, or did anybody notice?
Well, I thought because it told who wrote the article, it gave her credentials.
Yeah.
That made her more trustworthy.
Yes, very good observation. We'll talk about that in a second. Is there anything else someone wants to add? It's good so far.
Is it the little lock? Is that some type of security?
Yes. You're giving all my secrets away. We were talking about that in the next slide. Yes, we will be talking about that. So I'll go ahead and explain. There's a lot of things going on, and like I said, example 1 is about a temperature, and example 2 is about how to diet. But we're looking at the clues that give away what's trustworthy and what's not. So let's go to example 2 first. Like I said, this is somebody who typed into Google wanting to learn about how to diet, and Google will bring up all these results for us. But typically, sometimes we will see on Google the first few options that come up will be advertisements. So that's why this green arrow right here is pointing to this word. It's usually pretty small, but can everyone see? It says ad right here at the top of each blue title. Can everyone see where my mouse is going around it?
Yes.
Where that green arrow is. So these aren't necessarily bad, but when we're on the internet, it's going to want us to try to buy things. And that's not what we were wanting to do. We just wanted to read about how to diet. So this is when we would scroll past those advertisements and get to the real articles. So that's why example 2 wasn't as trustworthy as it could have been. So moving to example 1, this one, as you pointed out, it does list the credibility of the article. It has a big picture at the front, and this is just an example, so we can't see the context of the article at the moment, but it says by Elizabeth Haynes, BSN and RN. And then kind of below that, really small, it says the date, but it says 2020. So this shows that it's very relevant to the time. It was just recently published. And the credibility of the author, she's a nurse. She knows what she's talking about. So that's a good thing to look out for when we're trying to read and understand information, because we want to know that it's coming from a reliable source. And then I think someone else also pointed out that this website, it does have a lock here at the top, and we're going to talk about that in just a moment. That means that this website is secure. It's a reputable source for health information, that your information isn't going to be put out there or stolen when visiting this website. Any questions about these two examples?
I don't have a question, but I have a comment.
Sure.
And I'm really glad to know, because sometimes when I would search the internet and all of those ads would come up, for me, it was very confusing. But now that you've pointed it out that there are ads, they're just trying to get you to buy stuff. Now I know to just keep scrolling and find, just the actual topic or item that I'm searching for. So that's good to know.
Well, good, I'm glad. And I will, I'm going to show an example. I'm going to go to Google here in a minute and show you another example of ads and show you how to try and avoid those.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments about this slide? Okay, well, you all pointed it out right away. You're right on track. Okay, so this slide, once again, it shows the signs of security. This is also a good habit to get into when we are clicking on different websites and trying to find information. And I'll show this again in a moment, but we want to check at the top of the address bar when we're on a website and look for that gray lock button. That means that the website is secure and that the owner or organization of that website has paid for their website to be secured from any sort of cyber attacks. So that's good. I would not recommend going to a website if you don't see the lock on there. Okay, so now we are going to do another example, and I will show this through Google. We're going to type something into the search bar, and I'll show you what it looks like when that comes up. Type in, is coffee good for you? Someone's getting a phone call. All right, so let me go ahead and I'm going to stop, get out of the presentation and go to Google. Can everyone see the Google page? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so like I said, we can type here in the center of the Google or your DuckDuckGo page. It says search Google. You can click in there and type, or you can do it up here at the top. It's the same one, it's just two in a different place. But I'm gonna say, ask, is coffee good for you? And you notice as I was typing, it was kind of filling in words, giving suggestions. So these ones come up, is coffee good for your liver, for your heart, your skin? It's trying to see if that's something I would like to know. We could click on one of those, or I can just go back up to here. I'm just going to click enter and stick with my original search. Okay, so Google, this has pulled up the search results page. It's going to have all of the possible resources available here. So this first one looks like a New York Times article they published about, is coffee good for you? But there's a lot more information below it. So when we do a search, I'm going to go to this scroll bar here on the right, and I'm going to drag it down so I can see all of the other information. Okay, so you start to see all these different websites come up with the blue titles like I told you. Let's click on this one. It says 13 health benefits of coffee based on science. And this will take us to that website. Okay. So first thing, what should we want to look for when we are on a new website? How do we know it's secure?
The lock.
Yes, the lock. Great job, great notice. This is up here on the address bar, like I said. This one is in gray. Sometimes it's in green, but always look and make sure it has that lock button. I clicked on this website in particular. It's called Healthline. This is a well-known health information website. We'll actually be using it the rest of our class together to research some things, but this is a typical one that people go to. Okay, now, so the next thing you might notice I want to point out is about the advertisements. So you'll see up top here, this one is for a shoe advertisement. If you clicked on it on purpose or on accident, it would probably take you to another website trying to get you to buy shoes. That's not why we're here. We want to learn about coffee. So we're just going to ignore that. And then as you see, if you start to read, other advertisements will pop up on the left or the right or the middle for different companies, but we're just going to ignore those. Okay, and then you'll start to see all the text. It says can improve energy levels and make you smarter. Now, obviously not everything we are going to read on a website or online is true, even on a secure website, but we can think about it and see if it applies to us, and it could be worthy of conversation with a family member, a friend, or a doctor. And you'll see on the right here, there is a Geico ad. So we just want to scroll past those. There's a Wells Fargo ad that pops up in the middle of the screen. So this is common on even secure websites. This is just the way that different organizations and websites market and make money. Okay. And then you'll probably see here too, I want to address this at the bottom of my screen. There's this blue teal looking rectangle that says, please accept our privacy terms.
Don't answer.
This privacy terms, this will sometimes come up on certain websites. You can ignore it or you can hit accept. This is just saying that the website has privacy terms. They're promising, and they have paid that they're not going to do anything illegal with your information by visiting the website. Obviously, we're just reading, we're not giving them any information, but that's just something for you to know. And then over here, we also have on the right, sometimes it's at the top or at the bottom, but the author and the date of a website will be listed somewhere on the page. So this one says, written by Chris Gunners. Looks like he has his degree in science. And it has the date, it was 2018. So that's not too long ago. This is still a pretty relevant article. I would suggest if you go on a website that doesn't have an author, it doesn't have a date, or there's misspelled words, it just doesn't look right, it's probably not trustworthy. Any questions about going onto websites? And we'll be doing this and practicing this a lot more in the weeks to come.
Ollie, I'm sorry, on that previous page. I'm sorry.
Yes, who was first? I couldn't see.
I say, is there any way you can stop the pop-ups?
Stop the pop-ups. So let me go back to Healthline here. So sometimes you can, sometimes will pop up at the top and it'll say block the pop-ups. If that happens, you're welcome to click on that and see if that works. But I mean, that's kind of just the nature of going online. Ads will pop up, things will pop up, but there's usually always a button that says close or exit so you can get rid of it. So if that's not the reason why you're there, just ignore it and keep going on.
Okay.
What was the other question? Did Ms. Joyce have a question?
It was me, Carolyn. What's where it says nutrition or evidence-based? What is that? What significance is that?
So that's a good thing to be pointed out. That is also another citing of the credibility of this article. It's saying it's evidence-based. So the author who wrote this, like I said, looks like he has his degree in science. So he probably did some studies to get to these 13 health benefits.
Okay.
So as I scroll down here, it'll probably have some numbers or things that he found from those studies.
Okay.
So he's not just pulling these things out of a hat. He did some sort of study to find a correlation that coffee can help you burn fat or increase your energy levels.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Yes, that was a good thing to point out. Thank you. Okay, so what?
Holly, I have a box that says, please accept our privacy terms.
Yes.
Do I click accept? Use cookies to.
Are you on
use cookies to? Oh, it's gone now.
Did you go on a website, Miss Ophelia? Oh, she's a little.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me, Miss Ophelia?
Try again.
Can you hear me now? Miss Ophelia, I think their internet's a little in and out today.
Yeah, it is.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, now I can hear you.
Okay. So you said you had something pop up.
To accept their privacy terms.
Yes. Yes. So like I said, you can ignore that or you can hit accept. That's not necessarily a bad thing. That's just saying that the website you're on, they have a list of privacy terms and agreement. They're promising that by you visiting that website, nothing is going to happen to your information. So that's just saying that you accept to those. Any other questions? That was a good question. Okay. Miss Catherine, did you have something to say? You're on mute.
Oh, okay. What do I hit to get off of mute?
So at the bottom, okay, you're off mute now. I can hear you. It was at the bottom left of your screen.
Yeah, my computer just shut down, so I'm gonna remember to plug it in when I come in.
Yes. Yes, that's a good reminder. Charge your computer before class or have it plugged into the wall during class so that
you told me
we
I
don't
had
run
an
out of
hour and
battery.
something. I didn't need to charge it.
Okay, so like we noticed, we just went through those examples on Google and the health websites. We always want to make sure the website we clicked on has a lock. Mr. Jimmy saw it right away. That's a good thing to get into the habit of looking for. So for this next week coming up, we want to encourage you to practice your computer, practice going online. Go to Google Chrome and type in some kind of health question that you may have. And just find any website that you think looks interesting and make sure it has a lock. Because we want to bring that to class this week and we're going to discuss it and talk about it.
Okay.
So we did a lot this week. We learned how to use a search engine like Google Chrome. That's that DuckDuckGo browser that you have at the top left of your screen. And a very important thing we did was how to spot out ads and try to avoid them during our Google searches. And then we're going to begin, as we did today, finding health topics and websites that are of interest to us, and start to make sense of the quality and credibility of that information, because we want to make sure it's coming from a good source. Any questions about what we explored today?
Coffee. It's really good.
What was that?
Is coffee really good for your body?
Yes,
Well,
it is.
that's something we're gonna have to explore. We can continue Googling that. Maybe that should be your topic of choosing, Jimmy, during this week. Type in, is coffee good for me, in your Google search, and look around at the websites.
Okay, is coffee good?
I would like to know.
I think yes.
Any other questions or comments? All right, so like I said, for next week, make sure you practice going on your computer this week, getting used to using Google, and try to find something that's of interest to you that's health related, whether it's about coffee or something that you or a family member might be going through. It might be about COVID, anything that you'd like to know more about. Make sure it has a lock at the top and that it's secure. And write it down so we can discuss it next week during class. And I want to remind you all again, if you have any questions, any comments, or trouble at all, please reach out to me and Jasmine during the week. We are available to you. If we don't answer right away, we will call you back so we can help you with whatever question that you have. All right, so does everyone still have their weekly activities packet? They can write down their health website that they found in there for next week.
Yes.
Okay. All right, are there any other questions before we go today?
So, Holly, we just go to Google Chrome.
Yes.
To search, okay.
Yep, the same way that we get on for our online class, we will go to Google Chrome and we can type in our questions in there.
Okay, but we don't have to go into the virtual class site. We just go to Google Chrome.
No, ma'am, that's correct. Just go to Google Chrome.
Okay, all right, gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome. Other questions? Was this helpful information to you? Something
yes.
that you learned?
Very much, because
okay.
For me personally, I hated to go on site because all of those ads, I wasn't really sure what I needed to click on. So this helps me a great deal.
Okay, good. Yeah, I think that's part of their tactic. The websites, they have so many ads on them. You think you're supposed to be doing something and you end up accidentally clicking on one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, anything else?
No.
No. All right. Well, if you're good to go, if you're feeling good about it, you can go ahead and leave the meeting. It's at the bottom right of your screen in red. It says leave meeting. Or if you want to stick around for another moment or have a question or comment, I'll be here.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you all. Such a great class this week. I'll see you next Wednesday. Please reach out.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.